The making of Logan-Cache Airport. In 1929, the site of the current Logan-Cache Airport was chosen by local aviators Russell Mann, Floyd Hansen, and T.H. Humphreys. 84 acres of land was procured for $1,260, with funding coming equally from Logan City and Cache County. The site was flat, level, and away from the mountains. Being in the bottom of a valley provided some challenges, however. Fog and drainage issues would prove to be long-term complications for the airport. The airport initially had two dirt strips in the shape of an L. One was 20 feet by 1,200 feet, the other was 20 feet by 1,500 feet. The land had two open drains to help manage water flow and keep the runways out of the mud. By 1939, airport upgrades were needed to meet the requirements for participation in the civilian pilot training program. 3 runways, each 5,200 feet long, were paved. A 60-foot by 100-foot hangar was built, as was a control tower. A lighting system was installed to facilitate night training. Since the airport was built on land sitting above part of the Yellowstone Aquifer, drainage was a concern. Artesian wells and springs throughout the airport acreage could easily damage the airport substructure. Dewey Clyde, Utah State University Dean of Engineering, and Erwin Moser, Logan City engineer, developed a 30-mile-long drainage system which was put into place under the airport. It utilized drain tiles that varied in size from 6 inches to 30 inches. This underground system still stabilizes the airport and facilitates drainage today. Commercial airline service was established at Logan-Cache Airport by Western Airlines in 1946. In May of 1965, Thunderbird Air Taxi, based in Ogden, Utah, began services to Salt Lake City from Logan-Cache Airport. A merger of Thunderbird Aviation and Kelsey Ellis Flying Service in 1969 brought a new airline into Cache Valley. Key Aviation and Airlines was formed. They constructed the building currently occupied by Leading Edge Aviation to use as their terminal. In 1960, reconstruction of the existing surface of runway 1735 was undertaken. New medium-intensity lighting was installed, and a new terminal building was built. In 1961, runway 1735 was extended for an overall length of 5,950 feet, with clear zones and holding aprons at each end. In 1984, runway 1735 was reconstructed and narrowed from 150 feet to 100 feet in width. As early as 1941, a Logan-Cache Airport master plan proposed an extension of all runways to 7,200 feet. A master plan from 1970 proposed an extension of runway 1735 to 10,000 feet. These master plans were done by Erwin Moser, the Logan City engineer. Due to the altitude of Cache Valley and the valley's high summer temperatures, density altitude restrictions were affecting operations at Logan-Cache Airport. There were concerns for the safety of corporate turbine aircraft operating from the airport in the summers. By the late 1990s, an extension of runway 1735 became a possibility to address these safety concerns. To extend runway 1735 to the north was not a simple matter. 184 acres of land had to be procured. A valley through road had to be closed. Wetland mitigation was also necessary. Airport Authority Board Chairperson Sarah Ann Skanke was instrumental in working with the airport neighbors to procure land and close the Hyde Park lane so the runway extension could proceed. Extension of runway 1735 took place in 2001. Along with the new runway surface, taxiways were added and a new wildlife fence was put around the entire airport perimeter. In 2004, an instrument landing system, including a Malzar lighting system, was installed on runway 17. Complications with the glide slope and runway threshold related to a nearby county road had to be mitigated before the system could be put into use. In 2006, a parallel taxiway was added to runway 1735 to comply with the recommendations for the instrument landing system. Lighting of runway 1735 has been a challenge. Early lighting systems were affected by the alkaline, salty soil. Direct burial lines degraded due to the high water table, which caused electricity to leak from the high voltage lines. Conduited lines were put into place on runway 1735 in 1984, with all connections, signage, and taxiway lights updated and completed as part of the extension project in 2001. Snow removal can also be a challenge at the Logan-Cache Airport. The airport averages 7 snow events per year requiring the use of major snow removal equipment. Presently, Logan City is assisting with the snow removal. In 2013, a new state-of-the-art airport rescue and firefighting truck was purchased with FAA funding. Logan City and Cache County have supplied a 12-inch looped water main line to the airport to provide adequate water volume in support of expansion of large hangars as well as fire suppression needs. Sewer and electrical service have recently been upgraded at the cost of $200,000 to accommodate hangar growth on the northwest side of the ramp area. Logan City and Cache County provided the funding for these projects. Although airport usage has varied over the years, growth and expansion show upward trends. Even as economic factors have decreased the number of turbine aircraft based here, overall turbine traffic counts remain stable. Demands for hangars continues to increase. What lies ahead for the Logan-Cache Airport? 4 items have been identified on our wish list. Number 1. More appropriate snow removal equipment. As per recommendations from our Part 139 certification inspector, we would benefit from the acquisition of a front-mounted high-speed snow broom and high-capacity snowblower. Number 2. To facilitate charter flights, runway 1735 should be strengthened so that operations involving 737s and MD-80s do not damage the runway. Number 3. Revitalization and rehabilitation of runway 1028 to maintain it as an option for crosswind landings, training, and glider staging. Number 4. Centerline lighting would provide an additional layer of safety on a runway that is prone to fog and other low visibility conditions. Logan-Cache Airport is known to have patchy, moving fog that can be very deceptive to approaching pilots, especially those who are not familiar with this phenomenon. Due to the physiology of the human eye, transition from concentration during approach on the centerline Malzar lights to concentration on edge lighting of the runway during landing can be dangerous, especially if the pilot's sight becomes obscured during the transition. As the pilot's eyes find and follow the lights, unintentional movements in the same direction can result. This can happen so quickly that safety is compromised and landing may be unsuccessful. An airport is like a living organism. Our stewardship as airport owners and operators is to keep our airports vibrant, safe, and alive so that they may benefit the communities we serve and the economies that help us grow. 9,000 feet of road can take you 9,000 feet. 9,000 feet of runway can take you anywhere in the world.